Good morning, everyone. This is your Market in Minutes report, and we are looking back on March 18th through the 22nd, and it was a fantastic week for stocks, as you'll soon see. FOMC meeting last week, the Federal Open Market Committee, the Fed basically was just fantastic in terms of positivity coming out of that meeting, so all is good. So let's jump into what actually occurred. So 5-day performance, so Monday through Friday, everything up very nicely, as you can see. Dow up almost 2%, S&P up over 2%, small cap stocks, Russell 2000 up 1.6%, NASDAQ up almost 3%, so tech continuing to do well, and even foreign stocks up over 1%. So brings our year-to-date numbers up even higher. So looking good across the board. You can see this just incredible. S&P 500 up over 10% on the year. And the first quarter is not even over. So fantastic across the board. Really nothing to complain about here. And of course, the NASDAQ is up almost 10% as well. So this is indicative of this continuing tech domination, if you will. Let's take a look at rates as well. So not a whole lot going on here. Rates did tick down a little bit on the treasuries, and it ticked up a little bit on mortgages. So, which is typical because the mortgages tends to be a little bit of a lagging indicator. But 30 years sitting at 4.4, 10-year 4.25, 2-year 4.64, and 30-year mortgage at 7.31. Again, not a ton of movement going on here last week in the rates department. But the big news was stocks bouncing back. So this was stellar. As expected, the Fed left rates unchanged at the conclusion of its 2-day meeting last week. But this was less expected. The Fed actually signaled its inclination to cut interest rates 3 times this year, which is fantastic because that's in line with what we were thinking might be the case, but they were a little bit more transparent on it than I think we anticipated. So it'll cut rates 3 times in theory by a quarter point each. So that was a positive surprise. And so that, because we were kind of worried that this, recent inflation reports would cause the Fed to reconsider. And it sounds like that's not the case. So markets pushed higher Wednesday following the news. All 3 averages closing at record highs. So fantastic week. Rally continued through Thursday, boosted further by news that existing home sales rose by 9.5% in February. Also good news. Fantastic. The week's rally was broad-based overall, with 10 of the 11 S&P 500 sectors posting gains. Healthcare did drop slightly, but other than that, everything was positive. So at one point late in the week, nearly 1 in 4 S&P stocks were trading at 52-week highs. So that's the highest proportion in 3 years, which supports the idea that the rally is broadening out from just mega cap tech stocks. So all very positive news. So let's jump into a little bit more of the economic talk. So the Fed. So this is the Fed turning point here. So the Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC decision, marks a turning point as the Fed signaled that its target range of 5.25 to 5.5 has now topped out. So that target range in place since late last year is the highest level in 23 years. Hard to believe. So a quote from Fed Chair Powell here: "We believe that our policy rate is likely at its peak for this type of cycle." And this was at the post-meeting press conference. So he also added that if the economy keeps on its current course, that the FOMC would likely begin dialing back policy restraint at some point this year. Fantastic news. That's about as transparent as you're going to get, probably. If FOMC votes to ease at its June meeting, it would be the first cut in 4 years. And that's, of course, what everybody is hoping for. We'll get a lot more transparency on that as the weeks progress. So what's on deck this week? Key economic data. A lot going on here. Monday through Friday. Monday, new home sales. Tuesday, durable goods. Case-Shiller home price index. Wednesday is petroleum status report. Survey of business uncertainty. Thursday, GDP, jobless claims, consumer sentiment, pending home sales. Friday, personal income and outlays, international trade in goods, and retail inventories. That's just a jam-packed week for economic data. Not so much on the reporting side. So earnings reporting, McCormick and Company, Dave & Buster's on Tuesday. Wednesday, we got Paychex, Carnival, and Centus. And Thursday, rounding out Walgreens. So that is it for the week, folks. So I really appreciate you tuning in here. Here's our contact information if you wish to communicate with us for any reason. We're always here for you. We'd love to talk to you. Also, hit that subscribe button down below. We'd love to have you get all of our videos as they come out. And that's it. So I'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.